the country. The only impact is felt is Upper East.
Okay.
So, for example, if I take Accra, Tema, metropolitan area production area, out of almost 10 plants, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama constructed 4. The other plants, those he constructed, we have the Siemens, he constructed in 2015. We have the Tahal plant, which was constructed in 2014. We have the Ghana Gazuba plant that was constructed in 2015. We have the desalination plant, which was constructed in 2014. Since 2017 to 2018, not even 1 gallon of a plant has been constructed and added to Accra. And that is why we have serious water shortages, because the demand from Greater Accra, Accra Metropolitan Production Area, is 220 million gallons a day.
Accra alone?
Yes. And consume almost 70% of the water we produce at the whole country.
I see.
220 million gallons a day. Currently, we are able to produce only 140 million gallons a day. That means that we have about what? 80 million gallons a day shortage that we can meet. Now, if you even take the 140 million gallons a day, and you now look at non-revenue water, that is water that we have pumped from the treatment plant, but it never gets to the final consumer. As of December 2024, it's 52%.
52% of your entire production,
yes,
goes to waste.
We can't trace it, either through physical leakages or through illegal connections. And we've identified flat rates as also one.
You don't make any money from 52% of your treated
52%
water?
As of December 2024, 31st December. So if you take the 140 million gallons a day, and you take off 52%, calculating 48% on the 140, that means only 69 million gallons per day actually gets to
the people.
The people. So that means over 150 gallons
get lost.
Get lost.
Wow.
So one is the capacity of the plant. We are not able to meet the normal demand. That is the 80 million. And then almost 71 million out of gallons per day, out of the 140 that we pump into the system, we can't trace it.
Wait, so that tells me that you may not necessarily have a production shortfall, at least in the case of Accra.
We have a production
it is not a production shortfall.
We have a production shortfall.
Okay.
Because the demand is 220 million gallons. We produce 140. So that means we are not able to meet the demand.
Yes, but even the
yes,
140 you are able to produce.
Now, the 140 we are able to produce, we are not able to account for 52%. We call it non-revenue water.
Oh, so then
which is 71 million gallons of day.
Which means then that the problem of water loss is bigger than the problem of production shortfall. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. What is causing the high water losses before we talk about production causes?
We have the fiscal leakage. You see, most of these plants were constructed in the 1950s. For example, if you take Weja, the candy plant, it was constructed in 1950. 1950. At that time, the pipelines were asbestos. So 1950 to date, that is 75 years ago. If you take the Pong Old plant, it was constructed in 1954. If you take the Pong New Works, it was constructed in 1967. If you take the Bamak plant in Weja, it was constructed in 1960. If you take the Adam Clark plant at Weja, it was constructed in 1980. So 1950s and today, they are still operating. One, the plant utilization will not be that efficient again. Two, efficiency becomes a problem and power consumption will become so high. So that is why I'm saying, even in Accra, they tend, if not because of the intervention of His Excellency His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, between 2013 and 2016, would have been in serious crisis.
I see. So obsolete or perhaps even inefficient systems,
yes,
contributes majorly to the water losses we experience.
No, that is in terms of the old pipelines. They are worn out. They can easily burst.
Right. I mean, it's the same thing I'm saying. So you have a physical leakage.
Now, the second one is, as I said, is illegal connection. A lot of people do illegal connections. And we need to put in much effort to see how we'll be able to identify the illegal connection people and then make sure that we recover all the monies that they have, the water they have used in terms of money terms. The third one is flat rates. You see, we have commercial water tankers that goes to our hydrant to fetch water. They pay a fixed rate. Whether they send 5 tankers a day or 10 tankers at the end of the month, they pay a flat rate. And that is not helping Ghana Water. The
rate is not high enough? Or is, because
I believe that
rates?
To be able to account for it very well, we need to meter them to know how much water you've consumed, and you pay appropriately. And also in some of the communities, we have compound houses. One compound house have a tap, a pipe water, and almost all the surrounding go there to feed. Meanwhile, they pay flat rate.
I see. So let's take each of these issues. First, the physical leakage.
Yeah.
What are the measures you're putting in place to ensure that we deal with this physical leakage?
First, we have a fault line reporting platform. And also we have hotlines, 24/7 at the Accra East. Now, with the fault line, any person who sees a leakage and posts it on social media, some send it to me directly, we quickly act on it. As I was coming here this afternoon, His Excellency Victor Smith saw one and quickly got in touch. I've dispatched the team to go and work on it. Another customer realized that in his house, even though the taps are not being used, but the meter is working. So he sent a message, we forwarded it, and they've gone to the house. They realized that there was an underground leakage within the house. They've identified and they have worked on it. So I want to urge, but very soon we have to approach the media houses, the TV station, the radio stations, and make this information available for customers to be able to reach out to us.
That sounds like we can have new pipelines to replace the
old
ones that are causing the
problems. To replace the old pipelines, we need about $356 million.
Well, that's the money we don't have.
You
can make that. You raise that money.
We can't.
I mean,
per our balance sheet, we can't raise that money per our balance sheet because the GRE ratio of our balance sheet is 192%. That is our debt to equity. Last year alone, we have a total liability of, that is, as of December 2024, we have a liability of 6.1 billion Ghana cedis. So on the face of our balance sheet, we can't even source 5 million.
You mean 2024 alone, your liabilities were 6.1 billion?
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
6.1 billion?
Ghana cedis, yeah.
Ghana Water Company didn't make any money at all.
And we are expected to make a loss. They are currently auditing. These are provisional figures. We are expected to make a loss of 4.8 billion.
That's an increase on 2023.
2023 is 3.8 billion.
Okay. Yeah. I see. All the same, I'm saying that as a company, you have the ability to go outside of your IGF to raise money if you think that the process you're going to embark on will be beneficial to the overall efficiency of the company. Why won't you explore that option?
We have explored, and that is what I just said. If you are going outside to borrow, you go there with the strength of your balance sheet. You go with the strength of your balance sheet. So if your balance sheet is not good, you can't even raise 10 million Ghana cedis.
You've been refused already?
And that is why you can't even raise. Going to the bank to even borrow 5 million Ghana cedis is a challenge. Because they will calculate your gearing ratio and others, as I indicated, and they are not good.
I mean, so
you
on the surface...
You have a liability of 6.1 billion Ghana cedis. You realize that you have no equity.
But why won't you get rescue like the way ECG gets rescue from the government?
The government, to be very frank, has been supportive to Ghana Water because of the on-lend loans. Most of the facilities that are being constructed, the government standing for us, borrow the money and on-lend it to us. And we are not entitled to pay back. There have been that intervention, but you're also aware of the difficulties His Excellency is facing now with the IMF conditionalities. You get my point?
Yeah.
That has actually handicapped the Minister of Finance, Honorable Atufosin, from extending huge hand to Ghana Water because the conditions from the IMF as a result of the mess caused by the previous government is biting, and it is not an easy job.
So what is the biggest liability of Ghana Water Company, Ghana Water Limited at this time? What is your biggest liability? Because, you know, I'm going back to the issue of so far you see from the books that is being looked at that some 6 billion cedis of liabilities is being recorded.
Yes.
What component of your entire operation is that?
Now, when you take the 6.1 billion, and let me assume that we want to raise in terms of money, that will take like 3 to 4 years to be able, assuming we don't pay salaries. We are not paying salaries, we are not spending at all. Whatever we raise goes to settlement of the debt. I get my point. It will take us 3 to 3.5 years to settle that debt. Nobody is paid, we don't pay anybody. What the money is channeled to settling the debt. So we need about 3 to 3.5 years to be able to settle it.
Okay, so clarify it for me again. This liability that you talk about is as a result of debts that have been accrued over time.
Yes.
Over what period do you know?
Some are long-term, some are loan facilities that were taken and still stand in our books. That accrue every year and we have to write them off. Some are from suppliers, so some date back to like 1980s, some date back to 1990s, some date back to 2000s, some date back as current as possible. So it's not just over 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, no. They are long term.
So more some like legacy.
Some of them are legacy debts.
I see. And this includes ECG's 1 billion cedis owed by Ghana Water Limited.
That one is treated separately.
Okay.
And, you know, we have interagency discussions, and we are sisters. So as much as possible, I don't want to come and explain so much on radio.
Oh, but the sector minister says that they will disconnect you if you don't pay their money.
As far as I know, we inherited over 1 billion Ghana cedis debt from the previous government. And as I indicated, I take responsibility because I'm the current MD. And I believe that I will deal directly with the MD of Electricity Company of Ghana.
And we don't have one yet.
And I expect the minister to deal with the Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing. So I won't respond to him.
I see. Do you have money to pay that 1 billion CD debt?
I have already indicated to you the liabilities and the gearing ratio of our accounts. But commitment is commitment. We have discussed it at length, and we'll be meeting on Friday to see there must be, I believe that if you owe, even if you can't settle, make some commitment. I believe in that principle. And I know the discussion between me and the MD of Electricity Company of Ghana will result to some payment. And at the end of the day, we'll see how we can push it forward. As to cutting water supply, you know, water is very essential. It's a national security issue. It's not an individual issue. In every part of the world, you can live without electricity in your house, but you can't live without water. So we must look at water in terms of national security implications.
And that's how you're approaching this issue? Exactly. We're going to take a quick break and come back. When we come back, we'll look at other issues to do with revenue collection. Yes. Because while you tell us about the liability, we also see from the books of ECG that revenue is being collected, particularly after it evolved from, you know, only manual collection of revenues and digitalized its systems. We'll look at what you plan to do in that area. Don't go away.
Brand new on DSTV. When a nominee to the Supreme Court dies, his family begins to suspect foul play.
Dad knew that he was in trouble.
Hollywood's darkest scandals are exposed in this gripping 6-part documentary series.
You have violence, fraud, homicide.
And a rich and powerful family is thrown into turmoil when a young woman claims to be the owner's illegitimate daughter.
You have another daughter.
Stay connected to everything new on your home of entertainment, DSTV.
Welcome back. My guest is the Managing Director of Ghana Water Limited, the Honorable Adam Mutawakilu. Again, thank you so much for talking to us and sitting here with us for this conversation. But we're on the subject of liabilities as against revenue collection. And like I pointed out before the break, we have also seen a trend where water companies' revenue has increased over the years. Some have attributed that to the digitalization of the payment process. But obviously, that doesn't seem like it's enough, is it?
The revenue is increment or not depends on how much is lost. If 52% of the water you produce is lost in the system, the 48 will not be significant enough vis-a-vis the operational expenses.
Right.
More especially when the water, the turbidity of the water is so high as a result of illegal mining, as a result of people settling along the banks of the river. The turbidity of the water is so high that currently most of our treatment plants cannot even use alum. We all used to know what we call alum.
So what do you use if you can't use alum?
Now we have to use another chemical called the polyelectrolyte.
Okay.
And it is 5 times the cost of alum. As we speak, there is a plant that is being constructed in Takoradi. The engineering and looking at the turbidity of the water, they agree that the turbidity should be between 1,000 and 1,005 NTU. That is in a volumetric turbidity units, NTU. In less than 2 years, last week, they checked and the turbidity level is 6,000 NTU. That means if today we want to operate the plant, we have to use more electrolyte, polyelectrolyte. And that is why the cost is very high. Even though it was designed to take like alum, but where the turbidity level has gotten to,
you can't use alum.
We cannot. It has gone beyond. And if you don't work on it very well, it can destroy the pump.
I see.
Because the pumps are designed after they have assessed, do the water quality and identify what the turbidity level. So the plant will be designed, the pumps will be designed in line with that. So when there is any change in the turbidity, it has effect on the pump. And if you don't take time, after a short while, a very efficient pump will tend to manufacture.
So
sun winning is another factor that can affect the pumps. Because when you win sun along the banks of the river, you know sand grains.
Okay.
So if that assessment was done when there wasn't sun winning, and the plant start operating, then there is sun winning, then the fine grains of the sand will miss. And that is what is happening in Tamale currently. I want to thank the Naoni chief. He has done very well to minimize it. But there is still a bit of sand that still affects the pumps.
Okay. I want us to specifically touch on the water shortage in the northern part of the country. But you finish that point and then we'll move on.
So when you look at the revenue we get, it's not able to meet. So when you take, as an accountant, I look at certain expenses we need to do to get the system running. If you do it at the end of the day, we run a shortfall of 54 million Ghana cedis.
How much do you spend on polyelectrolyte annually or daily? What's your
Annually, it's almost 400 million
cedis?
Ghana cedis.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's a big problem. And if you go to Central and Western, then Eastern, then Asante, that's where we have most of these issues. And the illegal mining has also salted most of the rivers and even the reservoirs. So once it gets to dry season, you cannot get water even to the treatment plant. Yeah. So currently we are doing dredging in 4 of the treatment plants to see how we can desilt it, do it proper dredging, so that when the rains come, the reservoir can hold water over the dry season.
Okay.
So 2 have been done and 2 more yet to go in terms of the dredging.
In terms of the dredging?
Yes. So I saw Mankesim people complaining they don't have water for quite some time. The water was just not available for the plant to treat and pump it to the community.
In Mankesim?
Yes.
Okay.
In that area. So in most places, the water in the dry season, there's no water.
But why don't we have steps in place to prevent surface water loss?
Yes, you see, it is interministerial interplay. The Minister of Environment must come in, Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, and then Minister for Water Resources, Works and Housing. So it's more interministerial, and I think they are doing quite well in the fight, but we still need to put much effort. Honorable Amakofi and his team, but we still need to put in much effort.
Where are you able to get your most water, you know, one that you can actually work with?
Pong. For Pong, because it's the Volta Lake, the volume is huge.
So the Volta Lake is your most reliable?
It's the most reliable. The volume is huge. And the cost of chemicals is a bit okay. So in some places, we don't use alum cell. Yes, we don't use alum. But if you go to Weja, serious problem, because it taps off from River Densu. And there is a lot of illegal money going upstream. And there's a lot of settlement along the river banks. That part is huge. So in future, expansion of water project, I prefer Pong or Sugakope. So that will help us much better than any expansion work at Weja. Because the Kandi, the Adam Clark, and the Bamak plants, They are seriously under stress because of the pollution of the water.
Because of the pollution of the
Yes.
of our water bodies.
Yes.
Honorable, we'll have to take another break, but when we come back, I want us to look critically at the water that we produce and whether or not we are able to properly sieve what some have said are heavy metals in our water and how safe our drinking water is. Don't go away.
Yo, fam, it's that time again. Finals. Oh, yeah. Go TV. Let's go. Go TV. This is too big. The Premier League, La Liga, Champions League, FA Cup, Europa, and more. Finals. Stay connected to catch all the biggest football finals with your best football friend. Go TV. Love it.
Welcome back. My guest is the MD of the Ghana Water Limited. You may know it's at Ghana Water Company Limited, Adam Mutawakilu. Honorable, again, I appreciate your patience. 2023 alone, we made about 2.8 billion in revenue.
Yes, because in 2023, government paid all its liabilities to Ghana Water. So there was a huge short in revenue. As we speak, Ghana Water still owe government almost over 100 million Ghana cedis. So if you see that...
So was there a revenue shortfall in 2024? I mean, based on what you are saying? Yes,
definitely there will be.
Okay.
Yes, there will be a shortfall.
Okay.
Because when government paid and overpaid into the future in 2023, that is why there was so huge... Because what we budgeted this year is 2.4 billion.
I see.
And we are likely not to hit the 2.4.
Why do you think you won't hit the 2.4 billion?
Yeah, it is difficult to get 100%.
Okay.
But at least we should be able to achieve like 90, 95. So we are putting measures in place. Now, the second one is that even that revenue that comes, I have 30 LCs against the revenue.
What are LCs?
Letter of credit. You go to the bank, it issues letter of credit to carry out a project. So the moment the money drops in the accounts,
it's already
we
gone.
don't have control over it. 30.
So that takes about, percentage-wise,
almost 30%
of your revenue goes into paying those.
So you see, as it drops, it takes off. We don't have control over it. And it had a serious effect on even what we raise currently.
I see. What were these money spent on?
As I said, some are projects. Pumps, pipeline extensions, among the rest. Some chemicals, and then meters, especially the chemicals and the meters.
And the meters.
So they just issue letter of credit.
I see.
So it is having an effect on the revenue we raise today. So if we generate, you see LC, you can just see them.
I see.
In that format.
I see. Then, I guess you have quite a task on your hand.
It's not easy, but it's not something we can surmount with determination.
So how are you going to work around that? You need the revenue to be able to do your business or operations, but you also have outstanding debts that you have to pay that you don't even have a say in whether or not you pay.
We cannot change because automatically you don't decide, oh, for this one, let me leave it, then later I pay, because when the revenue comes, it's taken away. The best approach is how to improve upon our revenue. The second issue is respect to what we call forex losses.
Okay.
As I indicated, government take the loan facility and on-lend it to us. When the cedi fluctuates, we have serious problems. In 2020-21, because of COVID, there were not so much import-exports. So the cedi was stable. So the ratio or the percentage of our forex losses to total cost was 19% and 24%. That's when you take the profit and loss account and you take the total cost and you look at the component of forex loss, it was 19% of the total cost and 24% respectively, 2020, 2021. But 2022, 2023, that was where we cannot even, we are chasing the dollar and then we can't even catch it. The forex losses contribute 51% and 54% of the total cost.
Your biggest problem?
That is the biggest problem. So, for example, if you take the 2023 financial statement and you look at the cost part, out of a total cost of 5.8 billion Ghana cedis, forex losses was 3.1 billion.
I see.
So you can see how the forex losses have impacted.
It's affecting, you know,
so
how
we're
you
discussing
do
with the
business.
Minister of Finance what is on lend to us. And we are not responsible for the payment. If they can convert that on lend to equity for us, and then we take off, that will automatically get rid of forex losses going forward. So you realize that therefore in 2025, with the drop in the exchange rates, we are likely to record a minimal forex losses.
Okay.
And thanks to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the Minister of Finance and Gold Board and his CEO, they are doing tremendously well.
Another issue you would have to deal with when it comes to revenue will be plugging the leakages yourself.
Very, very well.
Also, what are the measures you are putting in place to plug those leakages?
First, fiscal loss, I've told you in terms of that, that's the fiscal leakages. We need enough resources. With illegal connection, I've already discussed with the chairman, the reconstituted chairman, even though yet to be sworn in, on measures. I think, one, we need to deploy a lot of people and give them tasks.
Okay.
This is your task. You have 100 houses. Every month, we want you to monitor beginning of the month, end of month. This will enable us. They shouldn't take physical cash, but educate the people on how to use the Momo. Hash, star 1010 hash. Identify the arrears and let them pay, and then report on illegal connection. It won't be easy, but it's very important that we deploy so many.
But is this sustainable?
First of all, is getting the data. Once the data is gotten, then we'll now know how to work on it.
Okay.
To make it sustainable.
All right. When do you hope to deploy these human resources to the ground?
I'm waiting for the board to be inaugurated.
Right.
And then I put it to the board. Once approved, then we initiate it, because that will also imply some bit of cost.
How easy is it to get water meters today?
It's a bit of a challenge. Water meters and scrap dealers is a big problem.
How do you mean?
You know, most of the water meters were mechanical and mostly made up of metal. So scrap dealers go around, late in the night, they remove it and go and sell to the steel manufacturing companies. So I'm adopting a different strategy.
What is that strategy?
The water meters should be plastic. Some have come smart meters, but the stopcock and the valves are metal and as brass. And because of that, you still, the scrap dealers still go in and remove the whole thing and remove those things.
So you are not using them?
So currently, Accra West, for example, record about 60 water meter theft cases. Every month, 60. Replacing it is not that fast because limited resources. So replacing them is not that quick as we require. But Next month, I'll be visiting most of the steel manufacturing companies to inform them and to alert them to be watchful of what scrap dealers bring to them. I think if we reduce the demand for those top cocks and what have you, then they also reduce the pressure in the theft on our water meters.
Do you have meters available you are giving to new customers?
As at last month, March, 2 months, we have about 20,000 in stock.
I see.
And we are preparing to procure more. But the 20,000 will still not be enough. So new connections, that is another big question. We have areas where supply exceeds demand. If you go to Upper West, we have the water. Only 38% is being consumed. It's important we extend more pipelines to consumers. If you go to Upper East, almost the same, above 30 by less than 40 is being consumed. We need to. Other places you go, in terms of priority, I would prefer we go where we have supply over demand. Where we have demand already over supply, everybody is complaining. And you are extending more when the resources are limited. You realize that you are adding more complaints. Is it not true? And then where we are wasting water at other places.
Yeah.
So when the resources come, we invest more in where we have supply over demand and invest less in new connections where we have already huge demand over supply.
How are you ensuring that customer access to the meters are not problematic?
The meters are not in houses, in the houses. Most water meters are outside.
No, but if I want a new, I'm a new customer for Ghana Water Limited,
Yes.
and I want the meter from you. How easy is the process? What are you doing to ensure that it's very accessible and available?
As much as possible, we have removed the paper type of application to online. So you don't necessarily need to go to the office, then you have to apply. It made it easy for us. And identification can be done easily, but we still need to improve and make it more efficient.
Let's look at the issue of the North. What exactly is the problem?
The North, when we talk of the North, we have Damango, Yendi, Salaga, and Tamale. That's the center of everything is Tamale. You know, the Tamale treatment plant has been there for a very long time. Some indicate 1972. Others go as far as to 1930s, but it's not very clear, but I believe around 1972, thereabout. As we speak today, the plant capacity, maximum, assuming is producing 100%, I'm talking of Tamale, 100%, it will produce 11.7 gallons per day.
11.6 gallons. 7 gallons.
Million gallons per day, sorry. 11.
I was a bit stunned by that.
11.7 million gallons per day. 100%. But currently it can't produce 100%, and I'll give the reason soon. It produces about 8.3 million gallons per day.
Right.
So if you take non-revenue water as a result of leakages, as a result of illegal connections, the figure might drop further, below 8.3. The demand for Tamale is 27.7 million gallons per day.
That's quite a wide difference.
Look at the margin.
But what is contributing to the production shortfall there?
As I did indicate, we have the pumps, some of the pumps date back to 1972 when it was commissioned and installed. It's the same age as me, seated here.
That puts it in perspective, doesn't it?
I was born in 1972. You get my point? So even me, the way I used to be active when I was 30, it's not the same. How much a metal that is working every day for 53 years. It cannot more be that efficient. Some pumps were changed in 2015 under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. But as I told you, sound winning there is so high. So because of that, the grains, fine grains of the sun, those pumps cannot work efficiently.
So sun winning.
Yes,
old age,
and
pumps and pipes.
And valves and all that counts to the level of production that you can produce.
So then the water situation in Tamale cannot be changed anytime soon.
As we speak, we're going to do some replacement of some of the pipes, the parts in the pumps. And we've initiated the procurement of brand new pumps, taking into consideration the current fiscal characteristics of the water. And we hope that by November, we should be able to completely install them. And I'm saying November, someone might add, that is too long. The pumps are not sold on the shelf.
They are manufactured on order?
They are customized.
Okay.
They will take the characteristics of the water, take it to the manufacturer to manufacture that pump specifically for that treatment plant.
Right.
So it takes quite a process. So that's why it can't be like tomorrow next or next month or next 2 months. No.
I mean, once you get the pumps and you make the fixes that you have just spoken about, to what extent would it change the water shortage?
We should be able to at least increase it to about 10 million gallons per day, at least to 10 million gallons per day. But that means that we'll still have a shortfall of 17.7 million gallons per day.
Does that call for new plants?
Yes, and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has made it categorically clear when he visited Yana. By the time he gets there again to when he goes to goodbye the Yana after his term of office, there shouldn't be any water shortage in Damango, Tamale, and Yendi.
I see.
And as the MD with supervisory from the Minister for Water Resources, Honorable Ajay, and the Finance Minister, we are working around the clock to source funding for the Damango Tamale Water Project. Recently, you would have seen an advert when the EU ambassador said the EU is willing to support, and they have a package for the water treatment plants, new water treatment plants in these 3 towns. It is a reality.
I see.
And we are working around the clock to materialize it or to realize and then access that funding. It's a concessionary funding with huge amount of grants. And if that goes through, it will be a game changer in the north.
What is the nature of Ghana Water Limited's business relationship with BNC, which is owned by the now embattled former director of the National Signals Bureau, Kwabena Dubois?
BNC shouldn't have been owned by him. He owned an account that is similar to the national account BNC, a national security institution called BNC. We all know that he was the Director General of BNC. And government secured a funding for internet and cyber security. So, and I did indicate we have a huge outlet there. We have the head office. We operate in 15 regions. When I mean 50 regions, we have our own regions.
Okay.
For example, in Accra, we have 3 regions. We have the Tema, and we have Accra East, across West. But we still have what we call the ATMA production. They are those who are responsible to produce the water. But we say 3 regions. So we have 15 regions. We have 103 districts. So that is huge. So they used to go private to be able to connect internet to the head office and all these regions and then the districts. So when government under Nanado secured this internet and fiber optic installation, at that time, they decided that, okay, why don't we extend it, not only Ghana Water, but to other government agencies. So they will provide us the internet and the cyber security to all. But at the end of the month, Ghana Water is required to pay some amount for maintenance. So this agreement was entered into in 2018.
I see.
And it is on 2 installments, 1.3 million. So you pay within the month, you have to pay 650 and another 650. And it is by standing orders. And you know what standing order means?
Okay.
That means that I don't need to every month be signing checks. Once it gets there, it's like LCs.
Yes.
Ghana Water Company instructed that this amount should be deducted.
So how much specifically is Ghana Water paying for the internet service?
That's what I'm saying. 1.3 from the beginning.
1.3 from the beginning.
Split into 2.
Okay.
650 million, then another 650 million.
Is that money still being paid, or it was a one-time project?
No, it was paid every month from 2018.
2018.
It was stopped in April 2025.
April 2025.
Yes. So now you are Ghana Water Company. The Director General of BNC says, oh, we are going to extend internet service to you, which is much cheaper than when you go to a private to provide this internet and cyber security to all these districts, regions, and that this is the account number of the BNC that you will pay it into. You might not doubt, because coming from the head.
So due diligence wasn't done?
Due diligence in terms of follow-ups to ensure that it is paid into the right accounts.
Right.
But per the accounts you open, on the face of it, they are almost the same.
I see. So Ghana Water Limited, based on what you have gathered,
yes,
did not enter into any business agreement with any personal company linked to Dubuan?
No.
Okay.
Ghana we had Water agreement with national security.
Right.
And we have a liaison officer to national security. Do you get my point? So to the best of Ghana Water Company, we are paying the money to national security.
I see.
Do you get my point?
Right.
Not knowing a similar account was open just like national security in terms of name. And this money, this account was given to National Ghana Water Limited to pay.
I see. So I take it as once that contract has been abrogated, well, not abrogated, the contract has been suspended as of April 2025.
I've looked for the agreement up to now. I haven't gotten the agreement.
Oh, how? What do you mean by you haven't found the agreement?
Somebody offered to give me the agreement, I'm telling you.
You mean that even before you called it off,
you
have not set eyes on it?
As the TNI, they don't have it. So, yes.
There is no document backing that relationship that empowered
somebody said
payment
there is a
of
document,
money.
and he was going to provide it to me. I haven't yet gotten it on hand.
You still haven't seen it?
No.
But as of now, you have stopped all payments
no payment
to the said account?
No, we don't pay.
I see. So who is providing Ghana Water internet now?
They still provide.
Okay, but you are not paying.
But the challenge we have is our new offices. Per what the TNI chief managers told me, they needed an extension to that office, the internet, and it's still on hold. So I arranging to meet the National Security Coordinator. You know, he's new. He's just fresh into the system to see how we can work together to get that connection there and to see what is the outcome. But still, they provide the internet and the cyber security to our installations.
That's intriguing. That we can't find the document at the office where, you know, the service is provided and the monies come from.
Somebody has promised to get me the
who?
Someone has. I don't want to disclose.
From the previous administration, I suppose.
Yes.
So the former MD has promised to give you the document. Okay.
Not him.
But someone else.
Yes.
One of the few things that you've been accused of doing since you came to office is unilaterally abrogating contracts of people. Whose contract did you abrogate?
You see, when I saw that post, I thought that the person would have provided me evidence of the contract I abrogated. This is the case. I came to office. You know, we provide security to all our installations. So security companies enter into agreement with Ghana Water Company for a year. Are you getting my point? And then provide the security, subject to renewal or abrogation. And also in the course of your service, if you have made certain this thing, we abrogate. The contract they signed with the previous government ended on 31st March 2025. I'm okay. So I duly reminded them that 31st March 2025, their contract expires.
Right.
And therefore, there is the need for fresh applications in which everybody is expected to. But as at 25th March, we hadn't gotten enough applications. In fact, only one of the companies even visited me to introduce themselves. Oh, we are ABC. Then I realized that forward, let's extend it for another 1 month to 28th April 2025. And I duly requested the legal department and the legal chief manager, Jemima, to write to them that we have extended their contract instead of 31st March to 28th. And I duly did that. So I don't see where I abrogated. So it was on 25th, maybe 25th, 27th, we issued new agreements or contract to those who have gone through the mill. So it actually took place less than a week or so ago.
Oh, I see.
But I feel that somebody felt that, okay, I might not get again. And then let me use social media to propagate.
So the person who was providing the service or the company providing the service for you is still providing the service?
We have done new, you know, their service was to end on 31st.
I get that.
Among those we have, some existing security companies still provide.
Right, okay.
It's not completely new companies. I can point about 3 or 4 of them still
providing
service for the next 1 year, ending April next year.
So you didn't abrogate anyone's contract?
It wasn't an abrogation.
I see.
I even favored them by extending it for 1 more month.
Thank you for
talking to us. At least they've made some income, and some of them still serve. So
looks like sounds like you are addressing a particular company.
No, it's not. As I told you, I didn't know the company apart from one out of 17 or so who came to me as at 27th March to introduce himself that, oh, I'm this company, I'm in charge of A. For me to say, okay, this company, this is the owner. Only one. But I still extended it for 1 month for all of them. Are you getting my point? So there wasn't any abrogation.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.
Adam Mutawakilu is Managing Director of Ghana Water Limited. We've been discussing the company and how far it's come and what his plans are to turn around the fortunes of Ghana Water Limited. This is Hot Issues. I'm Keminni Amanor. I'll see you same time next week. Bye-bye.